What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. As usual, I'm Patrick Hennessy, joined by the man himself, Dan Rourke. How we doing today, Dan?
Pat, I'm doing so fantastic. We're recording nice and early on this Monday morning. And real quick, I want to say, I think, Pat, both you and I can agree we're very happy with the performance of the first two episodes. 10,000 views back to back. I've said it every week now. This is what I wake up and look forward to feeling good about life for. The Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. Pat, I'm chilling. How you doing, man?
Doing good, bro. Like you said, bro. Yankees Avenue Show on the Yankees Avenue YouTube channel. How could you not be good, bro?
Dude, I
Um,
know.
but you know what? We can also say that the Yankees are feeling a little bit good, too. Right. I mean, listen, they're 5-2 over their last 7. Walking into Oakland, we had really high expectations, right? Like I was looking for a full blown sweep, especially after the first game, right? Complete domination. They barely scraped by a winning game 2, and then they lost games 3 and 4. Kind of gave a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth, but like I said, still 5-2 in their last 7. So you know what? I'm looking at the Yankees lineup, a lineup that has brought back Giancarlo Stanton, and I'm kind of thinking like, who in the lineup? Because there's quite a few guys that are still struggling, right? So who's one guy that you kind of want to see like step up and kind of just, I don't know, I don't want to say rebound, but yeah, kind of rebound.
All right. So first of all, let me preface this by saying there's multiple different guys you can choose from. And hopefully we're not picking the same guy here. And to the people at home watching, understand my guy may not be the same as your guys. There's multiple people you can go with here. But the main dude that I look at and say he has to get going, it's Anthony Rizzo. Second half, that's kind of when the Yankees offensive struggles started or whatever. And since then, he does have a 115 WRC plus, so he hasn't been terrible, but more so in the month of August, dude. 19 games so far in the month of August. Rizzo's hitting 197, 278, 366 with just 3 homers and an 83 WRC plus. Now, I'm not necessarily worried, but it is somewhat of a cause for concern when you factor in that does kind of stem from when he returned from his back issues, which is something he's
Yeah.
been dealing with kind of all season now. So if that is what's causing him to struggle, I'm not sure. If that is the case, I think you either have to not IL him, but like he's got to figure it out by October. And if the injury is part of the issue, then dude, we still have a 7.5 game lead. Just get right. If not, then that is, I'm kind of hoping it's because of the injury, to be honest. If Rizzo's not hitting well, dude, that's a big issue along with other guys in the lineup not hitting as well.
Yeah, no, dude, it's weird, especially like looking at Rizzo, right? Like, I feel like when you watch his approach to the plate as of late, it's a nice rhyme actually.
Dude,
It seems like he's kind of like become like a home runner bust type guy, right? And I feel like that's like never what we've expected from Rizzo. So I don't
a
know.
home
I
runner
feel
bust
like
guy that's not hitting home runs either. So we're not even getting
yeah,
that.
no, exactly. But I don't know. It's just weird. I think he's gonna come around though. He like we've seen like Rizzo go through slumps and then go on insane hot streak. So I'm not too
Yep.
concerned. But my guy, who I'm actually concerned about in terms of like longevity, Gleyber Torres, bro. I'm at the point where I'm giving Gleyber Torres like the Gary Sanchez treatment. In no way, shape, or form do I want to see him on the Yankees next season. If the Yankees walk into 2023 with Gleyber Torres in the starting lineup, I'm gonna be a little bit upset. I'm not gonna lie, and it's really upsetting to think, just because, bro. 2019 was like 3 years ago at this point. Quick math. He was like our next superstar, bro. Like, yeah, I remember that graphic. Remember there was like Gleyber Torres predicted stats over the next 5 seasons, 40
Know
home
exactly
run
what you're talking
years,
about.
whatever. And we were looking at him as like one of the top young shortstops in the league. And now I'm looking at Gleyber and I'm like, yo, I can't watch his plate appearances anymore, bro. I was looking at his stats over like this is over his last 23 games, bro. He's a 471 OPS, 729 OPS, like on the season, I believe. And I know he's had like a few clutch hits. He leads the team in like walk-off hits or something like that. But if I'm being honest, like I don't care because 9 out of the other 10 times his plate appearances suck. And also, yo, the last thing regarding Glaber, like outside of his offense, bro, it's just like I feel like he's like mentally checked out. I don't know if it's like since the trade rumors and all that stuff at the trade deadline and whatnot. But I don't know. I feel like there's just these plays sometimes where it's like you question his baseball IQ. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%, dude. There's so many different points to me that are great points that I want to go off of. One, the walk-off hits, I totally hear you on not caring about him, especially when all of his clutch hits pretty much came from the first half. The first half, I remember, had all of us Yankee fans wanting him in the All-Star game, and
Yeah,
rightfully
yeah,
so.
yeah,
He
yeah.
deserved it. And I remember at the trade deadline, there being talks about him going in a possible deal for Pablo Lopez. I don't know how you felt at the time, but I was like, damn, I want Lopez, but I'm not sure I'm willing to give up Gleyber. All of a sudden, dude, I'm on the same wavelength of you. I don't think I want him on the Yankees next year as of right now. And yeah, dude, come October, it's nuts. There's a world where he's not in the starting lineup. And what's crazy about that too is it could come down to him and Josh Donaldson. And that's a conversation I never thought I would have had a month and a half ago, right? And dude, something that crossed my mind and somebody else mentioned on Twitter too. You look at like the deals the Braves are making, right? Where they sign, or just around baseball, like Julio Rodriguez, whatever, signing young stars to long-term deals. Say after 2019, we signed Gleyber to an early extension for like 6, 7, 8 years, whatever. We would have been hyped at the time. Thank God that didn't happen. At least the way it's looking right now, dude. That would have been a really, really bad deal. And if I was a betting man, and this has nothing to do with my personal feelings about wanting him on the team next year, just like bias aside, I truly think he won't be on the roster next year. I think he gets traded, like no doubt about it. That's like the move I'm most confident about going into the offseason. So I'm with you, dude. I'm with you.
And the only thing that bothers me about that is like, I just don't think Gleyber has the same trade value that we think he used to. You know what I mean?
It's not even close. I don't even know what he has, especially if he doesn't pick it back up. I was going to go with Gleyber, and the other guy you could also go with was is DJ too. To be honest, he's been slumping a lot in August. The main reason I went with Rizzo is because just in general, I feel like the top 5 in the Yankees order, they have to produce. Benintendi, Judge, Stanton, Rizzo, and DJ. If 2 of those 5 guys aren't producing, whether it's Rizzo and DJ or Stanton, whoever, we're going to be in trouble come October. So that's kind of where I stood on that, but I'm definitely with you on Gleyber.
Yeah. So listen, like I said, I mean, there's a pretty good possibility Gleyber won't be on the Yankees in 2023, at least if he keeps up at this pace, right? Another guy who, according to an MLB insider, might not be a part of the 2023 Yankees is manager Aaron Boone. I'm not sure if anyone saw the article that came out, but according to an MLB insider, if the Yankees kind of have like another early playoff exit, despite winning 100 games, they think, the secret MLB insider, I don't know what that means, but they think that Aaron Boone will no longer be the Yankees manager. And that's coming off, what would he sign? Like a 3-year extension with an option for a 4th year as well. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, listen, no disrespect to NJ.com. I'm not saying they're just saying an MLB insider said this. I'm not sure. I'll try and remember to put the article in the description below, but take a read for yourselves. They don't really mention any actual details that leads you to believe this is true or not. Because here's the thing. I don't think there's any chance this happens. Like, I'm going to put it actually at 0%. And the only way I would even give it to like 1 or 5% would be if the Yankees say blow the division and like didn't make the playoffs or something like that. I don't see that happening. So I think as long as the Yankees win the division and nothing like too outlandish happens in the playoffs, considering the fact they just signed him to a 3-year extension, I don't think there's a possibility it happens. And I'll be honest, dude, I don't think it should. I like Boone as a manager. I'm not sure where you stand on that. I think Boone, dude, he has his guys backs. He does have quite a lot of fire in him, contrary to popular belief. And since he slammed the table, the Yankees, that's when that 5-2 run started. So, and in general, I think Boone's moves for the most part are pretty solid. He has some, blunders here and there, but really every manager does. I like him. I want him back next year, at least as of right now. And bias aside, I don't think there's any chance he's not back.
So this is where I'm happy because like we have differing opinions.
Oh, let me hear it. Let me hear it.
I mean, listen, you know this. I think Aaron Boone's an awful manager. I think he's terrible. However, I agree with you. I think that there's no chance that he's not back next season. I think that whatever source this is, it's wrong.
But what you disagree on is what if he should be back on your opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that there was no chance they should have signed him to an extension after last season. Especially, listen, if you look at Aaron Boone's tenure as Yankees manager, you can't sit back and be like, yeah, it's been great, bro. It's been disappointing to say the least. He took a core. He basically took on a team that came within 1 game of the World Series in a season where they necessarily shouldn't have, and hasn't brought them back to that point since then, bro. And you know what? I think that there's been a lot of Boone-headed decisions. That's a good one.
Hate you.
And I don't know. It's just I look at him and I just don't see him as like a World Series manager. I want him to prove me wrong. But when it comes down to crunch time, I don't necessarily trust his moves. And there's numerous postseason examples, whether if it's like bringing in J Happ in the 2nd inning, or if it's like pinch hitting Mike Ford after like not seeing live pitching in like a month. It's just stuff like that, or like bringing Jolie Rodriguez against the Red Sox late in the season last year, and then them countering with a righty. Bro, it's just stuff like that where like he tries to outsmart the other team just to be outsmarted. Bro, at the end of the day, I think he's going to be back next season, regardless of what happens this year.
I hear you. Definitely some tough moves in the playoffs, at least the 2020 playoffs. Like the J Happ thing, that was dumb. Although I actually agreed with it at the time, but in hindsight, not so much. Mike Ford pinch hit, that was dumb.
But also,
But
I do want to say this one last thing about Boone. It's like I do question these decisions, and I know like people say like, oh, the front office doesn't really have control on like in-game decisions. I do think he follows like a playbook, bro. Like I think a lot of these moves that he makes, like the J Happ thing, for example, I don't think that was like Boone's decision. You know what I mean?
sure, I do think he writes out the lineup though. I really do. I think he's given information and then he has like the choice what he wants to do with it. Same with rest days. I think a lot of people think Boone's a puppet. He's been adamant that he is not. I can only really take his word for it then because he's like swore, no, I make the lineups.
But he's not going to say, yeah, I'm a puppet.
No, of course not. But also at the same time, like, what does a manager do then? Like, I can't, like, who's giving Boone?
I think he's just a face.
I think they give him information and he agrees with that information and puts out a lineup that the front office aligns with. But I don't think they're just handing him a piece of paper and saying, these are the 9 guys you're playing today. Anyways, I hear you on Boone's moves, like there being some blunders in the playoffs. I don't look at him as being the reason why the Yankees haven't won a World Series. Yes, his time as Yankee manager has been disappointing considering, like you mentioned, we were 1 game away from the World Series in 17. He comes on, we haven't gotten that close since. It's really not his fault. I mean, if you want to put a blame on somebody, it could be Chapman 2 times or the offense disappearing in certain series. It's nothing that I consider Boone to be the problem for, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, I was going to say, like, if you do want to put the blame on him for anything, and maybe the blame can kind of go on like creating just like a complacency tone in the clubhouse. That's like the only way
I don't think he's done that, dude. Even like what we've seen the last like couple of weeks.
I think with the resting,
pretty
you could kind of think that, bro.
I don't think that's been a problem as much this year. And at
this
times
year, no. But in past years, heavily.
I think since, and this is a big line of demarcation for me with Boone. I think since the second half of 2021, he's been a much better manager, much better. And especially when it comes to the complacency, lack of urgency, he's definitely, I feel like, been in a much more of like a win now mode since like the trade deadline of last year through now. Now, when it comes to his rest days as of like the last couple of months, you can't argue with as much when you got like an 8 to 10 game lead. That I'm fine with. If it, say the lead shrinks down to like 6 or 7 games and we're back to like being nervous about the Rays closing in on us, all right, then you got to play everybody. But I don't mind him, you know, sitting Rizzo during the Oakland series, sitting Stanton a game in the Oakland series, sitting Glaber, whoever, when you do have a 7.5 game lead.
Yeah,
but
bro, I hate to spend like so much time on this, but one last thing about the Boone thing, because dude, I'm super passionate about this.
I know you are.
Like the one thing that also kind of like bothers me about it is I was watching the Jeter doc, right? And it was the episode where like Buck got fired or whatever. Or he left. I don't know what the circumstances were, but it was basically like a Boone situation, right? They were either gonna like revamp his entire coaching staff and kind of like leave him on, and he's like, no, I'm not gonna let you take away my guys and like let them take the fall for me. And Boone was the complete opposite, bro. After 2021, they got rid of his best friend Phil Nevin and basically like blamed him for a lot of the Yankees' faults in 2021. And Boone kind of sat back and was like, okay, like, I'm going to do whatever you guys want me to. And it's stuff like that that bothers me. And it makes me like believe that he's kind of like,
okay, but factor in this for the last thing. What if Boone was mad at Nevin as well? Like if I'm him, I could see him being like after that walk.
You're the manager.
No, but if I'm Boone, like you could look at that end of the season in a way. When Judge got thrown out at home, we knew that wildcard game was over. So for all we know, Boone was just as mad as the front office was. And he's like, yo, like we can't have this guy on the staff. We plan on winning the whole
season on that, bro.
Well, no, you can't. But when the season comes down to a 1-game wild card, and they listen, the reason why the Yankees made the wild card last year and not win the division, that roster was ass for a good 60% of the season, which is not Boone's fault. But we got to move on.
Sure. Yeah. Listen, moving on. Speaking about the Yankees roster, there's a new guy, bro. There's a new guy in town, kind of like taking New York by storm. Beautiful personality, beautiful bat, beautiful glove, bro. Oswaldo Cabrera. You know, his bat hasn't been necessarily amazing since coming up, but defensively, bro, he's been solid, playing all over the field, making beautiful plays all around the diamond. He's shown a ton of promise in the sense of just giving the Yankees some sort of revival. Maybe not like he's not going to hit 40 home runs, but like I said, beautiful glove, and he provides like a little bit of a spark. Now, I think that kind of like leads us to a question now, because when he first came up, I thought that there's absolutely zero chance that he's on the Yankees postseason roster, right? But now I'm kind of looking at it and I'm questioning, Dan, do we think that Oswaldo Cabrera has a place on the Yankees postseason roster?
No doubt about it. On the roster at the very least, because it really just comes down to him or Marwin. And they both play the same amount of positions. They play infield, can play outfield as well. I don't think anybody would dispute that you feel more confident with Oswaldo Cabrera at the plate than Marwin Gonzalez, who hasn't gotten a hit since June. And I'll take it one step further. Not only would be on the playoff roster, I think he should be starting in those games. Now, whether that's, I don't think it'll be in the outfield, but you could even, we were talking about Glaber and Donaldson for playing time. You can factor in Oswaldo in that very same conversation because you can play third, you put DJ at second, or he can even play short over IKF. So I think without a doubt on the playoff roster, and if October was starting tomorrow, I think he's in ALDS game 1 lineup, in my opinion.
Bro, no, it's interesting for sure. That's why, like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yo, if it came down to it, I would love to see Oswaldo starting shortstop over IKF. I don't know if like you agree with me on that, but dude, that's something that like I'm 1000% here for. I was questionable about him. I was, but bro, he won me over. He really has. There's no way you kind of like deny it at this point, especially like, bro, it's not like we have like, I don't know, prime Derek Jeter at shortstop, bro. It's like, it's IKF. You could definitely like.
And he hits triples too, which is really cool. I like triples, dude. Didn't he hit 2 triples in Oakland? Or no, he had back-to-back 3-hit days, and one of those was a triple. He had a couple bombs to right center, which, yo, if he were in like, I feel like any other stadium, he would have had like 2 homers in the big leagues by now.
Oh, for sure.
But Oakland screwed him over.
Oh, well. Get it? Oh, well.
Oh, by the way, I know for a fact you were trying to transition there with that Derek Jeter at shortstop thing.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. But, yo, speaking of young shortstops, Anthony Volpe, bro, he's killing it in AA, bro. If you're looking at his stats since June 1st, he's hitting 287, 380 on base, 539 slugging with 13 home runs, 22 doubles, and a 147 weighted runs created plus. Basically, he's raking. And you know what? People are looking at him like, yo, maybe this is the reason the Yankees didn't go out and sign Corey Seager. They didn't sign Marcus Semien. They didn't sign Carlos Correa because Volpe is their guy. So you know what? You're looking at his timeline. I think it's not unrealistic to think that he's going to be in the bigs at some point next season. So let's fast forward to 2023, where Aaron Judge may or may not be a Yankee, right? Do we think in the second half of next season that Anthony Volpe, I don't know, will be the Yankees starting shortstop?
I would bet yes. I think so by the second half of 2023. I mean, listen, what do we always hear about AA and just the minor leagues overall? They always say the biggest step for a young prospect is the jump from single A to AA, not necessarily AA to AAA. There's been talk, not this is going to happen, we're kind of too late on this anyways. Some people were suspecting that there's a chance Volpe could get the call this year. And once again, that's not going to happen. But I think he, offensively at least, when you're putting up the numbers he has put up since June 1st in AA, he's quite clearly conquered the level. And without it, that should be bumped up to AAA and then the big leagues by next year. But dude, how about 44 stolen bases already this year, which is pretty insane. I would say, yeah, I think by second half of next season, I think Volpe will be the starting shortstop. I hope he wears number 0, gets the last single digit available. Wouldn't that be sick, dude, if Volpe took 0? Cool. I DM'd him on Instagram, bro, to do that. He left me on red. He does follow Yankees on Instagram, not the flex. But no, it was from like a couple years back. I said that. But wouldn't that make total sense? Volpe wearing 0. That would be pretty sick. Don't lie.
I would be no wear 0, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It shows it's available. It's in circulation.
Yeah.
Volpe wearing 0. That'd be sick. What do you think?
I think that would be cool. And bro, I like players that wear like weird numbers. Like I love when Aaron Judge picked 99, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like, it's either like 0 or like, what are you gonna wear? Like 72? Like, come on.
77.
Yeah, it has to either be that or team numbers are fine. Like when Glaber picked 25, I was like, all right, that's not bad. But
25 is a good number though.
It is. But I still rather him like, I'm not sure. 22, I guess, would be kind of cool. He could take, but like infielders have to go as low as possible. And when 0 is available, like that's marketable.
Hear me out. Give him number 11, bro.
I hate you, dude. Honestly, that wouldn't be bad. That wouldn't be bad. That really
wouldn't be horrible.
I wouldn't hate that.
Just saying.
What do you think? Will be in the bigs by next year?
If I had to give my take on it, I'd probably say yeah. Especially because, bro, it's like I said, it's like right now we're talking about the Yankees starting shortstop for the playoffs, and it's a battle between IKF and Oswaldo Cabrera, and that's not like to piss on any of them, but it's like that's probably going to be the Yankees' options for next season as well. So yeah, if Volpe is killing it, in AAA next season, yeah, bro, he's coming up by the second half for sure. Maybe
I mean,
even way before that.
I was gonna say you could also say if he has a good month of April down at
Yeah,
AAA,
bro.
once the service time situation's
Like a
figured out, he could
2018
be up.
Glaber type thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And also,
Yeah.
let me say, one of like the downside domino effects of Oswald Peraza not being called up is that's keeping Volpe at AA. If
Yeah.
Peraza's up at the big leagues right now, no doubt about it, Volpe's in AAA.
Yeah.
So Yankees got
Yeah.
to get it moving with their shortstops, and hopefully by next
It's
year it's all
interesting,
figured out.
bro. Listen, Peraza's not on the team, right? You know who else isn't on the team as of right now?
Aroldis
Aroldis
Chapman.
Chapman, man. He has hit the IL with the leg infection caused by a tattoo. Listen, crazy for getting a tattoo, bro. I don't know who would do such a thing to their body. It's permanent.
Not
But
me.
listen, Dan, what's your reaction to this? Because I saw it, bro, and like it, all you could do is laugh. Because first of all, bro, I like I'm questionable about it. One, why are you getting a tattoo like mid-season, especially on your leg? Like, bro, as someone who has multiple tattoos, like I know like the aftercare that goes into it, right? Like you got to make sure it's clean, like you got to make sure like there's no like dirt going into it, or it's
Okay.
gonna get infected. You know what I mean? So it's like
Okay.
I couldn't imagine like playing baseball and like traveling and like I don't know, getting all sweaty in games and stuff, wearing those pants and like having a fresh tattoo. So it's a weird thing for Chapman to do midseason. Maybe he's done it before, so he didn't think anything of it. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
First of all, you know a lot more about tattoos than I do. I don't have any yet, although I will have the Yankee logo on me at some point. I'm thinking like somewhere. Well,
Where?
I always said I would get Aaron Judge's face tattooed on me. It's kind of like a joke, but I actually would do that. If I did do that, that would go probably on like my upper thigh. That way I can hide it if I want to, then show people
Dude,
if I
that's
want to like show
weird.
it off.
No, that's weird,
But
bro.
it was like losing a bet type deal. I will get the Yankee logo on me at some point, probably on my shoulder. I like the typical a lot of people do it where it's like a logo showing like your veins with like the blood scrape or whatever. So it's like Yankees are my blood. Cool shit. But anyways, with Chapman, dude, first thing I thought of, bro, and tell me if I'm off base with this. I was like, that's such like a UN Cespedes thing to do. Like it reminded me
Yes.
exactly of that, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Listen, you can get a tattoo mid-season. That's fine. I was so thrown off for a while, like why Chapman wasn't getting in games. Like, because he was pitching well. He had that one bad outing, I think, where he blew a save or came close to after like a stretch of really good performances. We hadn't seen him for like 10 days. Everyone's wondering, like, what's up? Now he's on IL with tattoo infection. I guess he's supposed to come back
So
at some
weird,
point this
bro.
year. But listen, like in the big picture, tattoo infection aside or not, I don't know if I really am comfortable with him starting or not starting, closing games out in October, just getting high leverage innings. I don't know what exactly I want to do with that.
I'll
So
let him start games, bro.
hey, Michael K actually brought that up as a possibility a couple years back. Do you remember that? He was like, hey,
Yeah,
just
it's
turn him
so
into a starter.
stupid, bro.
I think Michael K's a genius, and that was a great idea. Now,
That's
here,
horrible.
but here's the thing. The Yankees bullpen is if it's healthy come October is good enough to survive without Aroldis Chapman. So at this point, if he didn't come back, and that would be the end of his Yankee tenure because his contract is up after this year, I think I'm ready for that chapter to close. Like I'm cool with that if he doesn't pitch again this season, and this might be it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he will pitch again this season.
They don't no, I think Boone said he
No,
was like he's hopeful. Like it wasn't like a guaranteed thing.
listen, look at me, audience. Aroldis Chapman is pitching again this season. He
But
will get high leverage
let
innings
me
in the
set up a
postseason.
scenario here. What if this infection, which we don't know what the deal is with this, bro? He could have like syphilis or some shit. I don't know how this works.
What?
I don't know. But say this takes him out through like the end of September. Do we want him just coming in fresh into October
Bro,
without
it's
having pitched
not.
any?
It's not like I'm no doctor, bro, but he has an infected tattoo. He's probably on like antibiotics for a week, bro. It's gonna clear up. He's gonna, bro. Like this
For all
isn't
we know,
like a
dude, he's
life or
losing
death
his leg. He
situation,
might lose his leg.
dude. There's
That's the word on the
actually
street.
no shot. He's gonna be
Oh, no.
fine.
Don't say there's no shot. You can lose your leg because of an infection. That almost happened to George Washington in the 1700s, but they fixed him
Dude,
up.
that's when they used like
Dirty
poison ivy
needles.
as medicine, bro.
Well, we don't know what Aroldis Chapman was using on his leg, bro. I mean, come on.
George Washington was using dirty needles for what?
You
They didn't
tell
even
me,
have
bro. I don't
needles
know.
back then, bro.
Dude, I don't like the way you're coming at me right now. I'm just throwing at some good,
No,
realistic
because
scenarios.
okay, maybe I'm gonna look stupid. If
Tattoo
Chapman doesn't
expert
pitch again
Pat
this
here.
season.
Okay. No, speak it
You're only
out. I
gonna
want to hear
face
it.
tattoo. Listen, comments. Let me know if I should get a face tattoo of Dan, and then if Dan should get a face tattoo of me.
Like on my face or like your face
Yeah.
on somewhere on my body?
No, yeah.
I mean, I'm good, but yeah, sure. Throw it down in the comments below. Also,
Yeah.
props to you, by the way, for not saying chat like your live ass is usually used to
I
saying.
know. I know.
Good
I
job
know.
by you.
What's up, chat? Listen, Dan, I think that's gonna wrap things up for episode
Episode 3,
3
baby.
of
Yo,
the
we're
Pat
moving
and Dan
along here. I feel
show.
like we just started like last week. Oh, wait, we
Yeah, no,
did.
it feels good. It feels good. But yeah, listen, that is gonna wrap things up. I'm still confident about the position the Yankees are in right now. Just my closing comments. And you know what, Dan? Going back to Aaron Boone real quick, if there was a situation where someone tried to throw you under the bus, I wouldn't let it happen.
See,
I
I was
wouldn't.
going to bring that up before. I was wondering, man, say we were on Boone, you're Phil Nevin in this case, and you threw away my season essentially by sending Judge home last year. I would take you out to dinner and say, listen, Pat, I love you. You're my boy for life. If you're ever in a bad spot, you get my couch, you get my guest room. I got
You
you
would.
for life. If you cost me a wild card game and ended my season, I think I would have to move on without you.
Wow.
Reluctantly, like, it
No,
wouldn't
I
be
remember that.
it wouldn't be ideal in my world.
No,
But
it's fine.
if I had to do it, I would. But I love you, Pat. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
gonna do it for this episode. Episode 3 is in the books. Had a great time as always with my dog Patrick Hennessy. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Drop a comment. Let us know anything you like, didn't like. I mean, there's nothing not to like. It's just a blast. And yeah, that's to do it. We'll see you guys next time. Let's go Yankees.
Peace.